Welcome back to another lovely episode of Unleashing the Future of Work Guide Live B2B Jam Session. Thank you so much for joining us this lovely Friday evening. If you're in Oakland, hope you had a great morning and had a great afternoon. So, this is a special afternoon episode, and I am joined by my good friend, Tim Olaore, who is Mr. Meaningful Work. You have probably heard of him before. You've definitely heard of that name, Mr. Meaningful Work, before. And if you haven't, get ready to hear more about it. This guy has been blowing up on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, Instagram. He's just been working and really building a movement around what is meaningful work. And we're actually going to dive deep on that today. His definition on meaningful work, some of the things that he's been doing in his career, how he juggles and manages entrepreneurship with building a movement on the side, as well as leading with one of the top healthcare companies and institutions in the California area. And he's going to share a little bit about his background, his past with you. But keep in mind, my guy Tim, man, he's a ball of energy. So if you want to be a part of this conversation him and I are going to be having, please show us some love. Give us your comments in the comments right above and let us know what you think. And Cedric is saying, dang, only if you're in Oakland. Nah, man, no, if you're not in Oakland, Cedric, show us some love, man. We love you too if you're not in Oakland. It's Oakland to the world. If you are somewhere else in this world, whether it be Nigeria, Texas, my boy Tim is in Pittsburgh. Show us some love. Tim, welcome. It's going to be Tim, and Tim having a conversation. Shout out to Tim who is joining us. With that said, Tim, Mr. Meaningful Work.
Hey, what's up?
Have you on, man. How are you, brother?
I'm well. It's Friday afternoon. The kids are napping, hopefully. Out here living our best life.
Boy, Tim is it. Hopefully they're napping. It'll be weird if they aren't napping. They're just running around.
Oh, that's what they do all the time. Or they'll be standing right by the stairs listening to what daddy's doing.
Man, dude, so I want you to share because, so many people are following your movement that you're leading with meaningful work, man. What inspired it, Tim? Because, what you weren't always Mr. Meaningful Work. So what was the transition that led to you kind of creating this movement around doing meaningful work, especially in times like this?
You are the inspiration. No, man, at the top of this year, I've always had this drive towards personal branding and entrepreneurship, and I've fiddled with it for a long time. But this year, especially with I moved up to Sacramento from LA to join Adventist Health in the Roseville office. And, so a lot of transition going on in my life. And I wanted to really be more focused on, okay, I got this new job, let's focus on this. And I need my one side hustle, like the thing that I'm building on the side. And so trying to figure out what that was. Then you and I, we met up in San Francisco. We met up with our boy, Ruben Harrison. We went and, grabbed some food and just a little bit about your journey and the branding of Mr. Future of Work. And I was kind of thinking along that line, like, what is really meaningful for me? What is something that I want to be known for, right? Like that if somebody was to say this thing that would be associated. So I was thinking about what would be meaningful for me. And then it was like in that train of thought, I was like, just that line itself, like finding meaning, finding significance in something, like that is a whole school of thought right there. So I changed my name on LinkedIn, changed my name on, and just kind of leaned into it and just said, I may not be the subject matter expert right now, but I'm going to learn. I'm going to have folks join me in that journey of figuring out what meaningful work means and the pursuit of it, the application of it. And that's kind of where I'm at today, and just engaging and building community around that. That's another thing that I learned is the importance of community and not just having your own self-definition, but gaining definition from the community of folks. So
from a crowd, from the wisdom of the crowd, as someone once told me about it, as you start building a movement such as the one you're building, you start learning from the people who you're co-creating and leading this with. So, let's dive deep on that, Tim, because, a lot of people think they're doing meaningful work, but many of them are not. And a lot of people don't have a definition for meaningful work. If you're tuning in right now, Shout out to Tim. Shout out to Cedric. What do y'all think meaningful work is? If you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from, how do you define meaningful work in your life? Let us know. But Tim, let's get your definition first, man. What is meaningful work?
For me, meaningful work is activities that energize you, right? The things that you do that keep you going on. So that, that's kind of my definition. What energizes me, but at the same time impacts the world. So this.
Oh, Tim is cut off. Oh, Tim is back. We're having trouble hearing you.
Are we back?
Yeah, we back.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back. Yeah.
So that definition of something that energizes me while at the same time having impact in the world is what's meaningful. That's my definition of meaningful work, and it varies for different people. A lot of folks it's value based. A lot of folks it's organization or job based. Given the globalization of our world and things are becoming a little bit more ambiguous, something that was just in my strain of thought. Now you have to think of it from a larger global cultural perspective. And so it becomes a little harder to define those things. So, and that's really what I'm on this journey on to find is as you're finding these kind of individual definitions of meaningfulness or maybe you work it backwards. What is meaningless work, right? Yeah. What are things that de-energize you or things that you're not really motivated by? And maybe kind of work backwards to find the definition that way. So yeah, that's what energizes me and impacts the world.
Love this that you're saying this because, my belief is that we're moving towards a movement where people want to work in environments and in roles where they're creating impact, right? And it's going to be much more important. And some people in the tech industry call this the passion economy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, are you doing work that you're passionate about? And you often get someone that, whenever you start talking about passionate work, there's always somebody in that room that says, oh my goodness, no, you don't have to do life isn't about doing something that you love. Life isn't about doing something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Some people just got to pay bills and that's it. Go home, pay the bills.
Yeah.
And I often hate when people say that. I hate when people say that because it is actually not true. There is definitely a way where you can line people's skills, strengths for jobs and roles that can not only take care of their family, but they also feel as if they're contributing to society at a higher level. Is that something that you believe in? And do you see us kind of moving towards this moment in our world where it's all about doing meaningful work?
I think it's going to play a huge it's going to have a huge part to play because back in the day where it was a lot more skills focused, right? From Nigerians, right? Like you only have three professions that you're allowed: doctor, lawyer, engineer. Like that was all. Anything outside of that is not allowed. So, that was kind of the history of you build the skill sets, you build the competencies in these very skill-based things. And now that we live in a world where the acquisition of those skills is almost so commoditized, where you can get skills from anywhere. Now it's really about the application of those skills. How are you able?
Oh man, Mr. Meaningful Work has logged off once again.
Nope.
Oh, he's back.
Hello. We're back.
What's up, Mr. Meaningful Work? We can't see you.
You see my picture? Oh, let me turn my camera on. Oh man. Camera on. You can hear me though, right?
We can hear you perfectly, my friend.
All right. Let me see if I got to log back off and log back on. No.
As Tim is logging back in to share more a bit about his thoughts on meaningful work, we want to ask you, community, how do you define meaningful work? Let's start with Tim, Mr. Murdoch. Tim is saying not only the opportunity to grow professionally, but the ability to impact your community. Tim, love that. It's been a definition personally, I've been rolling with throughout my career is, you can grow and you can still create impact, right? You can still serve your community. So love that, Tim. If you agree with Tim's definition, let us know in the comments. In addition to that, I think that, similar to what Tim, Mr. Meaningful Work, was saying, we are moving towards a reality and a work environment where that's going to matter even more. Mr. Meaningful Work, you logged back in. What's good, brother?
Man, we're all good.
We're all good,
all
man.
Set.
Technical hiccups happen.
Hey, it's a part of life.
It's a part of life. But as you were saying.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, so it's now about the application of those skill sets and how you engage with the people that are going to use those skill sets to move the world forward. So a lot of times it's more about your ability to deploy emotional intelligence, your ability to collaborate, your ability to lead, and these are the different skills that those technical skills may not train you, that may not give you. But if you value your work as having impact to the greater world, that's where emotional intelligence is going to come in. If you value if you see that the work that you do has impact, then that's where leadership skills and collaboration is going to, benefit you. So it's more about the application of those skills and how you engage with the community that, in my opinion, than the raw skills themselves.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. So you're saying the application of, are you becoming a more emotionally intelligent leader? How are you engaging in these skills that allow you to bring meaning to your work? That's where you find meaningful work. And instead of coming to work with this fixed mindset of, I'm not going to grow in this role, I don't have the skills, I can't grow these skills. It's like, are you showing up with your team, within your organization, or even within your broader industry, someone that's passionate about the work, willing to educate others and kind of really lead with your gifts?
Yeah, there's research that shows, we do a lot of, at my day job at Adventist Health, we do a lot of work in leadership development and, a lot of comparison with EQ, emotional intelligence, and IQ, which is just kind of a traditional, intelligence, and which of those are more important to successful leaders. And what we find almost nine times out of 10 is that the EQ qualities factor way more than the IQ qualities. Wow. And what you find in research for meaningful work is that there's a lot of components that contribute to an environment that meaningfulness can be felt at work. And the leadership is part of that. So if we put those two things together, knowing that emotional intelligence makes up successful leaders and good leaders is what impacts, an environment of meaningful work, then that shows that we need to be driving towards more of those skill sets and the impact that we have on other people, because that impact is going to be felt throughout.
Man, that's powerful, brother. It's so powerful too. And, I agree with this so much because I've been in work environments where the leaders did not bring any meaning to the team or to the work, and the people left. They just left the jobs because they feel like, what is the purpose here? And, and I think it's one of the key roles. My belief is that's one of the key roles for every leader is that you have to bring purpose to the work, because if you don't bring the purpose to the work, people won't see the vision or why we're doing the work. What are your 2 to 3 recommendations or tips for how everyone can be leaders within their own lives, right? To see the purpose in the work that they're doing, but also can bring it to other people, because it's a sense of energy that you have to bring to the table so people feel a sense of purpose in the work you're leading, the movement you're leading, but so other people who are working with you can be a part of that vision. So what are your 2 to 3 recommendations for leaders?
So I think listening is a huge one. Being able to listen and crowdsource definitions, right? So as opposed to coming and saying, hey, this is, when you're looking at, like, for example, job crafting, right? This is how the job is going to be. You might have a set of, defined things. That's how the job is going to be. But if you listen and you crowdsource those definitions, especially when it's generational, and you're able to get that feedback, then you can use those definitions to craft that. And then the folks can come in, not just expecting purpose to be, given to them from the leader, but knowing that they contributed to the definition of that particular thing. And that's just, for the job. So I would say listening and having a mode of getting those ideas from folks and being able to say that, hey, I don't have all the answers, and I'm going to be proactive and create systems that allow for that feedback from that community. So that would be one thing. The second thing I would say is, as opposed to trying to maintain balance right? Everybody talks about, work-life balance. Like there's two things that are battling, like it has to be 50-50. And if one goes up, the other one has to go down. Having the mentality of how do we do integration, right? How do these things work together, knowing that, hey, sometimes I might be all in on, my professional life. Does that necessarily mean that my home life has to fail? No, it doesn't. How do we integrate those things? How do we bring everything into it? Like for me, for example, in my brand building, right? Trying to build up the brand of meaningful work. Sometimes it's about including my kids in like my video sessions, right? Or making sure that I'm practicing some of the content with them. So it's not a separation of professional and home. There's an integration of that as well. So for leaders that are trying to create these meaningful environments, I would say being intentional about listening and also being intentional about creating integration and an environment where folks don't feel like they have to necessarily separate what they're doing outside of the office with what they're doing inside of the office. How do they leverage those skills that benefit them in both environments?
Man, that's so powerful. Thank you, Mr. Meaningful Work. I think these knowledge gems that you're sharing, if you're listening to me right now, or you're going to be listening later, please write these down, because this holistic view of life is, my belief, what we should be all listening to and adhering to, because we're moving towards a future of work where you're going to definitely have to think from a work-life integration standpoint, especially now that you're working from home and you have to create your own routines and structures. Let me ask you, Tim, what do you wish people understood more of when it comes to doing meaningful work and leading a meaningful career?
I think there is, and I suffer from this as well. There is this perspective of perfection. Like you want to get to this certain status where I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and life is just going to kind of cruise on and build by, or I'm building and I've gotten to this certain level of influence or accolades or what have you. What I'm learning and what I wish more folks would understand, and I think is becoming more prominent, is that you more so enjoy the journey as opposed to the destination. That there's a book that one of my CEO mentors is reading called The Infinite Game.
Yeah,
you know about it?
Yeah.
So where it's like you're not playing for an end metric, right? You're just constantly in the game, constantly to improve. And if you are going at it with that mentality, you're never going to lose, right? Because you're building for sustainability as opposed to an end point. So if folks are of that mindset that I've figured out the journey that I want to walk down. For me, it's meaningful work and also maintaining and managing the family. This is the journey I want to walk on. We're never going to reach to a level of perfection, but we're going to be moving towards that, and we enjoy the journey. Take the learnings, apply the learnings, build on top of them, and how can we impact people along the way while energizing ourselves?
Yeah. Powerful. Yeah. Thank you so much, brother, for joining us on this special evening episode of Guide Live B2B Jam Session, man. Where can our amazing Guide community follow you and your movement? And by the way, Tim is one of our amazing creators on our Guide beta, and he's already has access to it, and he's creating content already. So he can speak to the movement we're building, but also the movement that he's leading. So definitely check out Tim on all of the channels he mentioned. So where can our community follow you, my friend?
So on LinkedIn is where I put a lion's share of my work. So just Tim Olaore, Olaore on LinkedIn. On Instagram, I am Tim Started, Tim STARTED, and on Twitter, Naija Royalty. So NAIJA_royalty. I got to do a better band of keeping the brand consistent across the different platforms. But yeah, that's where I'm at. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and building out the YouTube channel. So it's not quite there yet, but yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate you for joining us, my brother. We definitely have to have you on a future episode. What do you think, my brother?
No, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. We'll love it. Thank you so much, Tim. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon, man.
My pleasure, bro.
All right, y'all. Be well. Woo! That was another episode from the Guide Live B2B Jam Session team. Man, shout out to Tim, Mr. Olaore, man. This guy is brilliant. If you want to follow more of what he's doing, please check him out on LinkedIn. He's leading an amazing movement around defining what meaningful work is for people. And if you are struggling to find meaning in your work or in your life, in your career, please follow Tim's work. It's a breath of fresh air. With that said, thank y'all so much for joining us for this special evening episode of Guide Live B2B Jam Session. If you are loving all of the amazing content that we're bringing to you every single day, please check us out, utfow.com. You can always sponsor. You can recommend a guest. You can be a guest. Our platform is your platform. And more importantly, you can join us in our movement of leading and building what the future of work will look like. And it's going to be a little bit like what Tim says. It's going to be a matter of you controlling your life, controlling how you learn, controlling how you grow. With that said, thank you so much for joining us on today's Friday special evening episode of Guide Live B2B Jam Session. Please check out guideapp.co to be a part of our beta and are a part of our movement. We already have companies such as Google, Microsoft, Nike, who are on the wait list. So definitely join us in our movement. With that said, talk to you all soon. Peace.